Return Nation, we are back and better than ever with a new edition of the Weekly Rundown. This week we've got results from Bobcat Trail Marathon, Tunnel Hill 100, Fuzzy Fandango trail races, and more. We will also tell you all the news that you need to know. We'll take a look at all your fun activities in the world of Strava. You know the drill. Let's send it over to Wesley for his favorite segment.
Yes, Mr. Barty. Paul ran his 466th straight weekly half marathon, and boy was he excited. Paul claimed that it was a glorious morning due to the end of daylight savings time. Personally, I hate this time of year, but I'm glad Mr. 5 a.m. runner guy gets to enjoy some extra sunlight. Good for you, Paul. No, seriously, good job. Kudos. Congrats. Go regular daylight savings time, or regular savings time, whatever the correct words may be for that. Paul also took some amazing photos along the way, so maybe this kind of makes things slightly better for the rest of us that don't run at 5:30 in the morning. And if you do run at 5:30 in the morning, go you. Until next week, Paul.
All right, let's jump into some race results. The 10th annual Fuzzy Fandango took place over the weekend. This trail run encourages runners of all abilities to enjoy the Mohican region by running some of the best trails in the state of Ohio. With distances from 5K to 50K, it really does attract runners of all abilities. The Fuzzy Fandango also supports New Hop, which is a residential summer camp for kids with special needs, as well as an outdoor education program for school districts. To enhance the Fuzzy experience, they have local beer for all finishers supplied by the Phoenix Brewing Company. I've got this sweet mug from 2016. And boy, was it delicious after my very cold race. It's also a great race with some very exciting chili. I mean, the chili's really good. First place in the 50K went to Jim Renfro in 5 hours and 7 minutes, beating out Gabe Rainwater by 13 seconds, while Mackenzie Best snagged first place female in 5 hours and 32 minutes. This race was also full of Return Nation members. Jeremy Pope took part in the 25K, running fast enough to get second place. We also had Morgan Green and John Welcome in the 25K. In the 50K, we saw Kyle Hendrick and Rob Ballou, who was running his 10th Fuzzy. Congrats to all the Fuzzy Fandango runners.
And before I dive into the Tunnel Hill 100 race recap, we just wanted to remind you that if you're enjoying our shows, hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are so close to 250 subscribers, so let's get there by the end of this week. What do you say, Ridge Runner Nation? The fastest 100-mile race in the country took place over the weekend in Vienna, Illinois. The Tunnel Hill 100 is known for its fast times from many runners, but especially in recent years from Zach Bitter and Camille Herron. This year, we saw another sub-13-hour performance from the winner. Mike Bielik now has 2 wins at the race and a second-place finish as well. He had been pushing hard towards the finish as he was just under the 13-hour mark by 17 seconds. I can only imagine how hard he was pushing those last couple miles, and of course at the finish to break 13 hours. Congrats, Mike. The top female was Loretta Tolbeski-Horn, who finished 12 minutes ahead of second place. Loretta finished with a time of 17 hours and 21 seconds. 2 Ohioans had quite the day. Andrew Waugh finished 27th and set a new PR along the way. Andrew said that he would not have run the last marathon as fast as he did if he did not have his friends to push him along the way. Great pictures, Andrew, and congrats on the amazing race. Pete Kostelnick from Ohio also finished 3rd overall. Congratulations to all the Tunnel Hill 100 runners.
The National Veterans Memorial and Museum 5-mile run and walk is an event to honor America's heroes, all servicemen and women, past and present, who help keep our country safe and free. The event features a 5-mile course, each mile representing one of the service branches. It's an urban course through the streets of Columbus, Ohio, and then an exciting finish on top of the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. A portion of each entry fee and event proceeds benefit the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. Congrats to all of the runners out there, and I just want to give a big thank you to all of the veterans out there. We greatly appreciate your service and sacrifice to our country.
The Bobcat Trail Marathon is a single loop course with rolling hills and several creek crossings. This race takes place in Burr Oak State Park, located in southern Ohio. Runners experience hiking and bridle trails, as well as running portions of the Buckeye Trail on the course. Pretty neat. This course is approximately 90% trail and 10% asphalt, making it for a challenging but kind of quick course. Andrew Zeminski from Columbus took the top spot with a time of 3:56, and Emily Kotnick, also from Ohio, was the top female in 4:29. This race was loaded, and that's with capital L for this way for you guys. Loaded with Ridge Runner Nation members. Congrats to everyone that ran this race. It sure did look like a fun one. And now it's time for one of our newer segments, a call to the nation. This week's call comes in from our very own Michael Owen. Take it away.
How's it going, Ridge Runner Nation? This is Michael Owen, otherwise known as the faster host. It's been a long time since I've seen everybody. Feels good to be back on the camera here. I'm out here running up Radar Hill, which is pretty fitting because it's almost been exactly 1 year since I crushed Wesley Harton, that other guy, the other host, in the first ever Radar Hill Chocolate Milk Challenge. I mean, I beat him by like a full cup of milk, and it wasn't even close. But anyway, as you can see, very first snow of the year. Feels good to be on the crunchy trails. I'm loving the weather, but I've been reveling in my victory on Radar Hill for over a year now, and it feels good. But in all seriousness, my last race, my last official race was back in June. I was a DNF, a big fat DNF at the Mohican 100. Doesn't feel very good. My first ever DNF at a 100 miler. It never feels good. And so hopefully, not hopefully, I'm definitely going to do it. Get back, add some positive results here to cap off the year. At the JFK 50 here, right before Thanksgiving. And then the Hellgate 100K right after that. Finish on some positive vibes.
Thanks for that, Michael. If you want to submit a call, it's super easy. Just take a 60-second video of yourself doing whatever you want. It could be running related, it could be life related, it could be whatever, cooking some food, whatever you want it to be. Make sure the video is horizontal, that's the sideways, and then email it to theridgerunners@gmail.com and we'll send you a confirmation that we've received your video. Who will be next week's Call to the Nation? Potentially the biggest news story from this past week was Mary Cain coming out and telling the world that she was the fastest girl in the world until she joined Nike. She talks about how she was mentally and physically abused by Alberto Salazar. Here's a short clip produced by the New York Times and Mary Cain telling her story.
I joined Nike because I wanted to be the best female athlete ever. Instead, I was emotionally and physically abused by a system designed by Alberto and endorsed by Nike.
If you want to watch the full video, which we highly recommend, you can find that in the description below.
You probably heard about 50 marathons in 50 days in 50 states, or even 7 marathons in 7 continents and 7 days. Well, it just got turned up a whole bunch. Nick Butter of Bristol just finished his challenge of running 196 marathons in 196 countries. What? Though he didn't complete it in 196 days, he started in January of 2018 in Canada and finished this past weekend on Sunday in Greece, home of the marathon. Nick actually ran 211 marathons in an attempt to future-proof his record by running in areas that might be classified as separate countries in the future. I'll let you figure those ones out on your own. This challenge was done to help raise funds for the Prostate Cancer UK after a friend of his was diagnosed. Congrats on completing this absolutely fantastic and amazing accomplishment.
On Monday, we released a new video series called Road to 100. John has held this huge goal in the back of his mind for a while now. This past summer, John finished the Burning Road 50 miler, and this summer he wants to go back and finish his first 100-mile race. Ridge Runner Nation will be able to follow John's journey to race day with regular training videos. I know that I jumped out of my seat. I sprinted across the room when I saw the first video because I was super excited. And I know that there will be many more awesome videos to come. So if you have any training tips or any advice for John along the way, or anything you want to see, particularly in his journey to 100, let us know and we'll make sure to get that in there for you. If you haven't checked out the video already, which we highly recommend, it's a great video, it's in the description below, so check that out.
Now for our Strava rundown. Remember, if you want to get noticed on the rundown, join the Ridge Runners Club on Strava by visiting our link in the description below. So beyond the races we already mentioned at the beginning of the show, Ridge Runner Nation was busy, busy this past weekend, just out there dominating races. Richard Combs took some absolutely beautiful photos on his run over the past weekend. I think it's on this side, maybe over here, probably this side. No surprise, he logged 7,290 feet of elevation to get those pictures. Great run. Jared Heights ran the Sky to Summit 50K located in North Georgia and snagged himself a 7th place finish. Congrats, Jared. Justin Agler ran the Rough Trail 50K and finished first with the course record. Other Rough Trail 50K runners were Jenny Hayes. Ridge Runner members are just killing it. Jim Jessler, Justin Wickman, and Andrea Van Sickle ran the Salt Fork Challenge. This past weekend also had the Indy Marathon and Half Marathon. Ridge Runner Nation members Megan Anderson and Alex Gold and Audrey Lutz took part in the event. Alex even paced the 320 marathon group. Congrats to all Ridge Runner Nation members who ran races this weekend, and actually just congrats to everybody who ran, because that's right there's enough. And with that, thanks for tuning into this week's rundown from the Ridge Runners. Be sure to check back next week to stay updated on all things trail and ultra, mostly east of the Mississippi. In addition, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell below if you would like to be notified, I think it's over here, every time we release a new video. And if you enjoy our shows, give it a share with your friends and hit that like button along the way. I'm your host, John Dolovacki, and we'll see you next week on the Weekly Rundown.